roses and rhinestones? What kind of a host of a YouTube channel? Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14, Episode 87. I'm so serious. I'm just kidding, of course. It's only Episode 12, but I thought 87 made it feel more realistic. Seriously, we're going to be watching this season forever. Well, not like we have much else to do, I'm just going to say. But before I get started, I do want to thank this week's tipper-doos. First, Dawn Rollins, who told me my videos help distract her when she's having a crappy pain day. Oh my God, Dawn, I'm so glad to hear that. Not the part about the crappy pain days, more the distraction thing. And let's face it, we all need distractions these days. I'm so serious. I also want to thank Jenna, who made her tipper-doo through my link tree on Instagram. Thank you, Jenna, and I'm excited for the surprise that's on its way. Thanks for the heads up. You know, I still don't know who sent that package with the mystery palette in it. It's a Canada Post mystery. Just saying. I also have a Redbubble model to show off. It's the incandescent Denise Journeau in her own Fingerdoo design. I actually sent her this one to thank her for all the fabulous wigs and illustrations she's been doing over the years. Speaking of wigs, I tried to copy the wig she styled for my drag daughter, Wilhelmina Box Farts. It's not too bad, isn't it? Of course, this wig was sent to me, poker straight and twice as long, you heard me, from Keith Thompson a few weeks ago, and I said I would do it, so I did. It's not that far off, is it? Speaking of Denise Journeau, her fabulous Wilma art is available on my Redbubble page. The link for that is down below, along with Denise's Instagram link and a link to her wigs by La Denise page. Please check her out. You'll gag at how talented this woman is. Seriously. She's my friend and I gag. I'm just gonna say. Now, Jorge, drink me! I can feel my pucker starting right now. You heard me. This is an extra frosty one today, Jorge. Thank you so much. Pink pucker. Little tequila, little ice, big blender. Live your dreams, is what I'm saying. Okay, let's get to it. So, we started this episode off with the queens relaxed and out of drag, ready for a new week, but still having to officially bid Jasmine a fond farewell. As in person, her mirror message was concise and to the point. In her message, Jasmine hoped Georges, Angie, and Daya would make it all the way to the top, which of course got right up Daya's nose. Good for Jasmine. Y'all know she knew what she was doing. Living rent-free in Daya's head is what she was doing. Here's to Jasmine, seriously. No sooner had Bosco wiped away the message when RuPaul's video message had all the queens worrying that they'd have to learn French. Can you imagine? The only thing that can make Quebecois French sound elegant is an American-speaking French, bless their hearts. At least they try. But linguistics weren't on Ru's agenda. This week's Maxi challenge was the Rusical, Moulin Rouge. Lady Camden was thrilled. Right away, the queens got down to casting. The roles were Saltine, the lead, and the part with the most lines, Madame Z, a bearded queen and owner of the Moulin Rouge, the Green Fairy, and 4 dancers of the Moulin Rouge, charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Well, of course, Bosco wanted the lead, Saltine, but so did Lady Camden, and neither one of them looked willing to back down. But Bosco was particularly shady in how she made a claim for the role by insulting LC. Seriously, this worried me. We've seen it all too many times before. 2 queens fighting for the same role. There's always one queen who would be better in the role, but somehow the other queen takes it and fails. Aja! This felt like the same situation where Bosco was concerned. Saltine was the lead, and no offense to Bosco, but performing in a musical, it's not the same as performing in burlesque. But, to be honest, if I were Lady Camden, I would have let Bosco have it without a fight and let her sink or swim. With Lady Camden's background in dance and the work she's been doing recently on the race, we all know she would crush any role she was in. Seriously. To settle it, much to Camden's chagrin, the other queens voted. Bosco won the role only because Willow, as the tiebreaker, saw Elsie doing a better job as Mama Z. Good point, but truth be told, Willow was more afraid of Bosco coming after her if she voted against her. She's just a will pill. Elsie was not pleased, but if you ask me, I think the queens created a monster because losing the lead role put a fire under Camden's butt to outshine everyone. Seriously, they should have all been frightened at that point. Bosco, on the other hand, had to take a personal moment because, well, she claimed she didn't like taking a part from a friend. But then, I didn't see her rushing to give it back. This wasn't the only casting issue. Both Willow and Angie wanted the Green Fairy. Angie acquiesced easily enough, probably because she didn't want to fight her friend over it. So she made a claim for talent. But so did Georges. And, like Bosco, Georges was not backing down. So Angie, being an adult, took charisma. Here's to Angie. Seriously. Daya wanted uniqueness, period. And, well, no one argued with her. Mostly because I'm sure the queens didn't want another argument. And with Jasmine gone, Daya was looking for someone else to pick on for sure. Deja made a bold claim for nerve. She was the only one. After the parts had all been cast, Angie took a moment to lift Elsie up by saying she would kill the Mama Z role. That seemed to get Lady Camden focused on the work ahead and put her embarrassment for almost picking a fight with Bosco behind her. Bless her heart. She's so British. And then it was time for rehearsal with guest director Leslie Jordan, aka Baby Wipes. The queens were gagged, as you can imagine. Joining Leslie, the composer and lyricist of the Rusical, the gorgeous Leland, and the exceptionally delicious Miguel Zarate, the choreographer, who immediately put the queens through their paces. I think the best thing about rehearsal was Miguel praising Elsie for being a superstar. Well, that, and Leslie Jordan asking the other queens if they were themselves, because they should be. Such a trash talker, that Leslie. Bosco looked like she was gonna throw up. Speaking of Bosco, her rehearsal didn't go too badly. She seemed to pick up the choreography quickly without any issues, but we didn't hear the word superstar while she was rehearsing, did we? The rest of the queens all seemed to do well. There weren't any big issues except maybe Georges' difficulty in picking up choreography, but what did you expect? She's a freestyler. Where do you think that punching the ghost came from? As the queens got ready for the performance, Deja asked Lady Camden how she was feeling after the rehearsal. Elsie was feeling so good that she was actually embarrassed for making a fuss in the first place, bless her British heart. Georges took a bold move and came out as a hater of musicals, but apparently she's not the only one. I hear there's a gay in Puget Sound who hates a 5, 6, 7, 8 too. Bosco talked about learning dance from her grandmother who wanted to be a rockette, so she was excited to do her proud in the Rusical. Georges surprised the room by saying that she taught herself how to dance, apparently from watching Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You can see why she hates musicals now. Deja admitted she'd never taken a dance class in her life. Georges wasn't surprised. She could tell. And then it was time for the runway. And I'm just going to say I loved Rue's outfit. From the wig on down, I thought she looked fantastic. Michelle looked wild in her leopard print. And, well, Ross had on another signature sparkly baseball jacket. Has he ever played baseball? And joining the judges this week, Golden Globe winner Andra Day, looking cozy in a shawl collar with a print that put me in mind of the IMHO Queen's old background. Just me? First up, the Rusical, Moulin Rouge. I just want to go on record as saying this was one of the better Rusicals we've seen in the last few years. I just loved the whole thing. Elsie killed it as Mama Z. To be honest, I'm surprised she made a fuss about not wanting the part in the first place, because I felt this part was bigger than Saltine's. Certainly seemed more important. Maybe it's how she performed it. Angie, Daya, Deja, and Georges did pretty good as charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And then, well, there was Bosco. Bosco did okay as Saltine, but to be honest, with all the fuss she made over wanting that part, I expected her to be better. Truth be told, I thought Leland did a better job as the love interest than Bosco did as Saltine. I'm just saying. I have to say, Bosco's signature eyebrows were a distraction for me, especially since she said she styled them after anime villains, which is not what Saltine's about. Just saying. Leslie Jordan was adorable as the Duke. He's 4'11". He's adorable no matter what he's doing. I bet you he's adorable on the toilet. Another standout was Willow. Not only did she do a great job as the Green Fairy, but she looks stunning as well. Here's to Willow. She keeps surprising me, I'm just going to say. And we can all agree everything is better when there's shirtless men in leather corsets. Right? Where's yours? And then it was time for the runway. Category is Mirror, Mirror. Elsie was ethereal in her look, inspired by the French book The Little Prince, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. As beautiful as Bosco's Metropolis Mugler hybrid was, I felt like we've been getting this silhouette from her a lot this season. Still, I gave her a Fingerdoo. I couldn't wear it. Willow's fireworks outfit was fun, but I really didn't think it encapsulated the category. It was more shiny than reflective, but, well, she looked so cute in it, I had to give her a Fingerdoo. I'm just going to say. I just loved Angeria's Crystal Fantasy, but it was too bad that it looked blue under the studio lights. Still, it was so gorgeous, I couldn't help but give it a Fingerdoo. Seriously. Daya Betty's Ode to the Kiss Army was a lot to look at, and, well, as reflective as hell, so I felt she deserved a Fingerdoo. I'm not happy to say it, but I just hated Deja's outfit. It wasn't very reflective, and, well, it kind of looked like a craft project for me. So I gave her a Fingerdoo. Georges looked good, but then she always does. Her dress totally met the brief, but I felt like we've seen this silhouette from her too many times as well. Not too many times that I didn't give her a Fingerdoo. Then it was time for the judges' critiques, and they all loved Elsie's Mama Z and her runway. It was a good night and a bit of a redemption, I'm sure, for Lady Camden. Seriously. The same cannot be said for Bosco. Michelle seemed to have the same problem with Bosco's signature eyebrows that I did. Also, her sneezes in the Rusical weren't as big as they needed to be. And it is the third corset and panties she's worn down that runway. Well, I'm glad someone other than me said it. Seriously. Willow was another favorite of the judges, but Michelle had the same issue with her runway not being reflective enough as I did. See, Michelle and I were like this. That's me. Ross thought that Angeria struggled to stand out in the Rusical, while Andra couldn't get enough of her runway look. That seemed to make Angie's day. Watch, Andra's going to be wearing that dress on her next tour. Trust. Andra loved Daya in the Rusical, saying she really stood out in a small part, while Rue totally loved her Kiss Army outfit. You'd have to, or she'd stab you with it. Deja was next, and Michelle thought she got lost in the Rusical until her rap, when she came alive. But as for her runway, it was a bit of a miss as far as Ross was concerned. Seriously. Last but not least was Georges, who Michelle thought started strong in the Rusical, but both she and Ross felt she disappeared very quickly. Her runway was also an issue for Michelle, who wanted all the queens to challenge themselves to come out of their comfort zones and stop wearing the same silhouettes. Okay, mostly her and Bosco, but still, come on. Then Rue asked the queens who should go home. Gasp. Elsie said Bosco. Good for her. But she wasn't the only one. Everyone agreed that Bosco should go, well, except for Bosco, who thought Georges should go due to being in the bottom the most. That may have been why Georges didn't just pick Bosco to go. She threw Bosco under the bus she wanted her to go home in. She let the judges know that Bosco didn't just make a fuss about wanting to play Saltine, but she put Lady Camden down while she did it. And then Georges brought up Bosco's track record of being in the bottom 3 times during the lip sync smackdown. Good for Georges, I'm just going to say. You'd think that would have made the Untucked lounge uncomfortable, but I have to admire Bosco for not taking any of it personally. That said, she still was surprised that she was in the bottom. It's probably because she was on stage and couldn't see how basic her performance was, I'm just saying. Georges felt that she was going to be in the bottom, and Deja thought she was going to be right along there with her. No one argued with them. Angie was the only one who thought she was going to be in the bottom, despite the other queens' words of encouragement, bless her heart. While the queens were fretting, Lady Camden got a surprise video message from her beautiful mom, who's over in the UK. So it was a particularly emotional message for LC and did her a world of good, seriously. Before the queens headed back to the main stage, they shared who they thought was the queen to beat. Angeria got a vote from Deja. Willow got votes from Angie and Georges. Lady Camden and Bosco picked each other, although Elsie also picked Georges. No one picked Daya. I don't know why that tickles me. And then the queens were interrupted by this week's guest judge, Andra Day. Andra wanted to say hi to the queens and share her own hurdles as a singer, taking on an acting role like Billie Holiday. I still can't believe she wasn't nominated for an Oscar. Seriously, did you see United States versus Billie Holiday? You should. It was stunning, mostly because of Andra. Just saying. Back on the main stage, it was no surprise that Lady Camden was this week's winner, much to Bosco's chagrin. Adding saltines to the wound, do you see what I did there? Bosco was in the bottom with, surprise, surprise, Georges. Ugh. The queens had to lip sync to Whitney Houston's Heartbreak Hotel. I thought this was a lucky break for Bosco because if the song had been more dancey, well, Georges would have stolen it out from under her. Seriously. As the queens started performing, I felt Georges still stole it out from under Bosco. She was controlled and subtle, while Bosco seemed to get a little more manic by the end of it. Just me? So, when the music died, it was no surprise to me that Georges chanted. All that was left for Bosco to do was open her chocolate bar. Did she have the golden bar? Yes, she did! Bosco would live to slay another day. To say she was emotional over the save is an understatement. I have to admit, I'm glad. I like Bosco. And now we're done with that golden chocolate bar situation. We should be able to have clean eliminations for the rest of the season, which should only last 3 more months. I may not be strong enough. So, what do you think? Did the right queens land in the bottom? What did you think of the Rusical? Have your picks for top 4 changed after this episode? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, you heard me, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And feel free to share this video and my channel with anyone you know who is as big a Drag Race fan as we are. Until next week, miss me! Seriously. Oh, this is the part of Drag Race where even the most likable queens start to let their claws and fangs out. I mean, I don't think that Bosco's a bad person, but she was getting a little diabetes in her attack on LC. It was unnecessary. Broke my heart. I'm just so surprised that after all that fuss, that Bosco was so mediocre. You know who did surprise me? Willow. God bless her. I know she's got a lot of health issues and struggles, but God, could she dance? She did a great job. So funny. I have to say, I hope Georges doesn't land in the bottom again. She's been there 4 times. If there's a 5th, I don't think she's coming back. She's young, she'll get over it.